Okay. So I was pulling out at the Tom Thumb and Shalimar just now. They had some boxes up there I wanted to get. And I'm pulling straight out, and there is a woman that is like over the middle lane wanting to turn left into the store, which is not even a block from the police department. Like, they could sit there and watch her. And I'm trying to pull into my lane because her car is in the way. And the left turn has a zero, now I'm talking zero, right away. Really. Unless there is a left-hand turn light signal. Because if you ever have a problem in a car accident, the one who's making a left-hand turn is liable. So anyway, as I'm trying to get through to my lane, because she's pulled in the middle of the street, she decides to start screaming when she has to drive around me because I'm going in my lane. And it's not my fault that she can't figure out how to drive at all. I could hear her screaming. Like, you don't pay attention. It's like, no, you don't know how to drive. You shouldn't be in the middle of the road blocking people coming out of the exit of the store. If you're going to make a left turn into the store, you need to wait your turn when the traffic is clear. We have the right of way. Because I wasn't making a left turn. Anyway, you know, it's funny, when my dad taught the sailing school in Marina Del Rey, I used to hear those classes over and over and over again. I could memorize them. And then I would teach them when the instructors were late. I would start them because I knew them by heart. Because I listened to it all day from being in the office working. And I was like 11 or 12 when I started working for my dad to get like $1.20 an hour or something like that. He said he could pay it because I was a minor and I was his kid or something. It's like, so, but it was basically family owned and operated business. But anyway, he was teaching a class one day, and he's a real character. And so he was explaining, you know, the rules of the road there, and you know, how starboard or port has right of way, this, that, and the other. And it was probably a basic 1 class of sailing. And so at the end of the class, he goes ahead and gives another quiz. And there was always, like, you know, 4, I guess it was 4 people per class. And because they go sailing afterwards, you know, to practice all the stuff they just learned. And so my dad says, okay, who has the right of way here? Is it starboard or is it port? Which boat? He'd draw it on a chalkboard and all that. And so somebody yelled out, port, port. And he said, okay. And he starts smiling and he says, now you just let me know when you get ready to leave here today, because I'm going to wait about 15 minutes for you to just go ahead in your car. And it's like, yeah, because you must drive like you sail, right? Because it's starboard over port, not port over starboard. Well, that girl, he screamed at me. She's lucky she wasn't in Texas. They just shoot you over there. They fix you an attitude adjustment real quick. She's lucky I wasn't like it was when I left home, because I tell you what, I'd have jumped out of my car and I'd have punched her in the face about 10 times and taken the keys out of the ignition and thrown them about 200 foot from the car. That's a promise. Yep. I don't put up with that crap. I listen to that crap in California. All that negativity. I've been making attitude adjustments myself. Fixing up good. You got a big mouth, be ready to take it back. Because I would take your teeth out. I've kept all mine for years. So, nanny. I've not had a scar left on my face or lost a tooth in a fight, that's for sure. Not never. I take you on, man or woman. Party's on, bring sack lunch. Well, they're busy at AJ's today. They got the Dylan piano thing going on. If it's the same guys that used to play at, what was the name of that place? John Hall was in charge of it. That sucker sunk like a ship with 15 holes in it. Howl at the Moon, it was called. Over in Dustin. And, my ex-husband and I went over there, and God, it was just terrible. That was about the worst. I don't have to go on this street. I gotta go to the next one. That was about the worst thing I'd ever seen. That looks like the Cadillac I was going to buy, but it had too many miles on it. They hadn't done a timing service on it, and they'd jump at about 40K. But yeah, Howl at the Moon, and it was these two dudes playing piano. It was kind of like the old Liberace thing. And, I think they were drunk as hell. Because it was the worst show I think I'd ever been to. And we paid really big money to go see that. They didn't serve any food in that big place. It was just liquor, and I don't drink. And, my husband drank a lot. But, I was always the driver. But, that show was so bad. And a friend of mine had told me, boy, if you want to see a show, you need to go see the Doolin Pianos at Howl at the Moon if you like piano. I'm like, okay. I play a little bit of piano. Wish I played more. I would love to be playing some ragtime in a heartbeat. But I bought 2 pianos right before my big house was wiped out by a tornado. And I was going to put one in the front house and one in the back house. And they never got to go into the property. They stayed at Doc Beery's warehouse, paid for. And he's passed away too. I think he rolled out about 2002. He was my chiropractor for life. But yeah, that show was really bad. It was so worthless. It was like I couldn't wait to get out of there. I think we walked out of it because it was so bad. It was like forever long, and it was just horrible. The guys were too drunk. And instead we ended up going across the way to the seafood restaurant. I'm thinking it was in Destin. It might have been. We might have gone to it when it was moved over at Boardwalk. In Destin. Oh, at Okaloosa Island, I think. I think it was moved over there at one point. And that might have been where we went to go see it. God, what a terrible show. Ugh. And there was only like about 12 of us there to see it in a room that would hold probably 100. I was like, this must not be very good if nobody's coming. Sort of like a restaurant. If the place is slam packed full of cars, you know the food's good, right? You just have to wait to get in. I'll tell you a really neat place, restaurant that one of my dad's customers had. It was a place in Santa Monica, and it was called the Old Venice Noodle Company. And everybody had to sing. Everybody had to be an entertainer of some sort. Mostly a singer. And so if you did magic tricks and whatever, but mostly sing. And so all the waiters and waitresses, sang at your table. And they sang for your happy birthday, happy anniversary, whatever. But they just sang. They would just entertain you, just break out and entertain you. And it was so much fun. And then they moved down into the Santa Monica area in a giant old warehouse district. And they moved a trolley car train something into the building and then put tables in and stuff so you could eat in that thing. It was really cool. You could eat in that or eat on the main floor, whatever. Huge warehouse. And I don't know how they afforded it. I mean, their food was expensive, but I don't know how they afforded it because it was horrendously big. I don't even know if the place is still there. But they had spaghetti at like 100 different kinds of spaghetti. And, or pasta, I should say. And man, was it good. The best you ever had. Fabulous place, but it's probably long gone by now. And then years later, I stayed at Fudgery out in Gatlinburg. Baby Cece was like 8 years old. We went out there with a idiot I was engaged to. Boy, it's a good thing I didn't marry that clown face. And they were making the candy in the window of that place, the Fudgery. And the owner was there. He was the one who opened that store. Nice man, very nice man. He looks so much like his son today. Yep. Which I've got a vlog of his son doing fudge on this channel. It is really neat. It is so perfect. He does this big long log of fudge on the marble table. It is pretty unreal. I wonder what they do to that house. There was all kinds of cars here today. There's one house down here in Fort Walton where they serve Puerto Rican food at their house, and then they charge the people for their beverages and the food. And that food is so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know how the neighbors put up with it, and they don't get busted for it. But that food is unreal good. And I mean, the cars park all over the street to go over there, and they have music and everything, and everybody visiting, and the families and stuff, and they cook all this stuff in their house, and it is so good. It is so unreal good. I think it's like $7 or $8 a meal, but I mean, they pile it on. When your plate comes, there's so much food. Oh my gosh, huge ton of food. Really worth it. So we're gonna bring my daddy's stuff over here to the storage, so it's safe. Still moving, trying to get it done. Tomorrow is supposed to be the last day, but I don't think I'll be out by tomorrow. Wish I was. Because I'm running behind here. I'm really actually running about 2 weeks behind on my schedule. But gotta get all this stuff moved out. If I end up in a lawsuit, I will sue her tooth and nail. That's a promise. No doubt. They had a free concert down at the landing park behind Hardbody Gym last night with a free fireworks show afterwards. Darn it. Wished I could have gone, but I've got to keep packing and moving. I don't have time to dilly-dally. There'd be other times for those things, but I really wished I could have gone to that. My friends went. And you know, it's outside and everything over there on the beach. It's a park. I just, no. Gotta take care of business first. That's what you gotta do. I gotta clean the rubber in that window. Every time they try to break in, that makes that window rub. Not as bad as my Cadillacs though. God, they break in, they steal the hubcaps, they hit it. Ugh. I've had more insurance claims on my Cadillacs, on my newer ones, than any cars I think I've ever owned. I should have claimed my truck during the storm, but I didn't. I'm trying to get my record clean from all those claims on those Cadillacs for a few years so that I don't have trouble getting insurance. I had trouble getting insurance 2 insurance companies ago. And I have a good driving record. How do you like that? The worst part was Allstate. I had them for years, second time around, and I'm going to tell you, I got a hit and run in a parking lot. I came out and my car was completely bashed in, like a truck had backed into it because it looked like a hitch was mounted in the door. I couldn't even get in the driver's door. It was horrible. And what they did was they backed out and slammed into the car. And it was parked across the way. It was like, dude, you gotta be a real idiot. And so it was totaled. That took them a month to look at the car. And so I had it bid in Mobile, which they gave me almost double there than what they offered in Upper Bama, and it was hit in Huntsville. And I waited 2 weeks for them to come down and look at it in Huntsville, and they wouldn't do it. And I didn't know they were going to total it. But did horrendous damage, and the problem was that Allstate wrote it off as a my fault thing. I'm like, how the heck is it my fault when I wasn't even in the car? I was parked at business. And when I came out, the light looked funny on the car. I was like, the car looks weird. And when I got up to it, I like screamed. I was like, ugh. And then I couldn't get in. And there was video cameras too. But yeah, Allstate wrote it off as my fault, which I couldn't figure that out. And it took about 2 years to finally get a letter of statement from them that it was not my fault. But for some reason, because it was so expensive to write the car off, I guess, when they decided to total it instead of fix it, they thought it'd be a better deal if they wrote it off as my fault because it was so expensive. And let me tell you, when you get that, it's really bad. It's like having drunk driving. No insurance company wants to touch you. None. Well, let's get this stuff locked up. I'll see you guys in a bit.